All right, welcome to another member spotlight. Today I have with me Nora DiNuzzo. How are you doing today, Nora?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Andrew.
Yep, thanks so much. I look forward to doing this. Now, this one I think is going to be special because if you've watched any of the other spotlights, what we open with is what I like to call pitch perfect. Well, Nora literally has pitch in her company name, Pitcher, and she is the queen of pitch here. So, not to put too much pressure on you, but Nora, I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Give us your best elevator pitch, and we'll learn from the master.
Oh, well, thank you, Andrew. So, Pitcher is a brand strategy and growth consultancy for small businesses, which I define as under 25 million in annual revenue. And what all of Pitcher's clients have in common is that they are not growing at the rate they want to be, and they can't exactly diagnose why. So, in this whole notion of you can't see the forest through the trees, or maybe you shouldn't try to WebMD yourself, that's where we can come in and help them figure out exactly why they're not growing and what to do about it next.
Awesome. You did it in 30 seconds. So that's great. So if I were on an elevator and I talked to you and I said, okay, what do you do? The things that I learned just now, it's going to be companies under 25 million, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Who don't have a clear vision on why they're stuck a little bit
Yeah.
as far as growth, and who can't really see the forest for the trees. They can't self-diagnose, and they need that third party to help them hit that next level of growth. Is that right?
You got it. That's it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that's an effective pitch because then I would know who your target audience is and if I'm in it or not. So that's really great. All right, so that takes us to the next little section here. 3 questions, 3 answers. So I'm going to ask you 3 questions that we've agreed upon ahead of time, but these are just designed to help whoever's watching this video to get a sense a little bit more of who you are, what you do, etc., and then see if it's something that would be worth further conversation. So are you ready for the big heavy hitter, the first
I'm
one?
ready. Let's go.
All right, here we go. So why are you doing this? And by this, I mean, why have you started a business? And, kind of what's your mission, your purpose behind all this?
Sure. Well, my background before starting Pitcher 18 months ago was working for ad agencies. So, spent the first 15 years of my career in the agency track. I was a business developer or head of growth, so helping the agency pitch and win new clients and grow their business, but also help the brands that we were working with from a strategic standpoint. Like when they would come to us, they would always have a problem, always have an assignment, like here's where our business is at. Essentially the same thing. We aren't growing at the rate we want to be and we're not exactly sure why. You as the agency partner, how could you help us diagnose that problem and what would you do uniquely to solve it? But the problem was all of those companies were 50 million to 5 billion plus in annual revenue, so essentially the Fortune 500 and down. But what I always had a passion for and wanted to be doing was working with small businesses. And so there's this big chasm between businesses that are in startup mode, maybe even have some early investment like Series A, B, C. They've got a few $1 million to play with, but the chunk that they could put towards marketing would be, tens or a couple $100,000 and not millions of dollars yet, right? So oftentimes we have this conversation with a startup that's like, we have like 25 or 50 million, or we've got, or rather 25,000, $50,000 that we could put towards marketing, right? But can you help us? And I would say, if you don't have 250 or $500,000, can't help you. And so by the time I got towards the end of working for agencies, I was pitching really big stuff like Procter and Gamble, Papa John's were the last 2 things I pitched. And I just really wanted to be helping small businesses grow. Like during the pandemic, my kids are little, they're 7 and 4, and their art studios closing and their dance studios closing, and all these great small businesses in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I live, are closing. And here I am helping the Fortune 500 make more billions. And I was just like, what's wrong with this equation? Like, I really feel like I have skills that could help small businesses grow. So that's where I think I'm going to put my energy and effort instead. And so I pieced out of my job. I had one client, I left. And the whole reason is because I believe that small business deserves to grow too. That's why that's my headline on LinkedIn. And I really feel like what I'm doing now is almost like Robin Hooding the skills that we've learned supporting big businesses and agencies, and that you learn if you're working in a large corporation about how big business grows. If you only just apply that to small business, you can teach a lot of really cool founders some tips and tricks about that process. And, we all don't know what we don't know. So I think a lot of what I'm doing is really education.
That's really cool. And it aligns well with what I'm trying to do with this whole first gen community. It's like the small business really kind of has the cards stacked against them in the same way that a first gen entrepreneur does. And they don't have access to those same resources that the Fortune 500s do. So that's really neat that you're able to, now service some of those maybe mom and pop places, comparatively speaking, and give them some of the same advantages or leg up that the big boys get to enjoy. So that's really cool. I appreciate you sharing that. All right, so let's get into a little more detail then. How are you helping people? Like, what does that actually mean? And it's cool that you can now work with these smaller businesses, but what does that entail?
Yeah, so there's really two sides to my business, because a lot of people know I came from the agency background, and so they'll say, "Oh, blah blah blah, your agency," and I stop them and I say, "No, it's a consultancy," because I don't have any other full-time employees or even part-time employees under my umbrella. Everybody I work with is their own business owner, their own subcontractor. So what I'm doing is really putting together squads of the right people to work on someone's business, or I'm straight up referring them over to somebody. So the two sides, the first side is really what I do myself as a strategist or with a team of strategists I might subcontract onto your business. So that's that diagnostic process, which I would call growth diagnostic. That if you come to me and you say, I'm not growing and I can't really figure out why, I can get in under the hood, talk to your whole leadership team, the founders, talk to your staff, talk to your clients, if you'll let me talk to your clients, your partners, and really 360 figure out like, okay, what are you saying about your business? What's your competition doing? What's the category doing? Like all the things that we would do for strategy at an agency, I as a solo strategist can do for your business, and then tell you at the end, here's your diagnostic. This is why you're not growing. You're not thinking about these things. You're not invested in the right places. Or actually has nothing to do with marketing. What you really need is an attorney, or what you really need is a CFO. Or, I mean, there could be all kinds of reasons you're not growing that have to do with marketing or not. Now, if there's something that has to do with marketing, I could probably help you solve those things. And I do for a lot of my clients. And that's like an ongoing retained agreement. So diagnostic is like 4 to 8 weeks. The retainer would be like 3 to 6 months. But in that time, I could help you overhaul what I call the first mile strategies, which are brand, business, content, and comm strategies. It's four things. You probably have a problem with one or several of those things. So in getting in and fixing those strategies for you, I call them first mile because if you think about pitching as a marathon, lots of people want me to come in and pitch them right away. But if the narrative isn't strong, or if you're not consistent with the narrative, you're going to fall down. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how good of a pitcher I am. Like if I don't have anything to pitch with, it's not going to work.
Right.
So that fixing of the first mile strategies is something I do a lot of. If those are already good and they're solid, and what you really just need is like partners, the right partners to go execute, that's the other half of my business model, which is more of a matchmaking brokerage service between what I jokingly call help I need a. It's people that are like, help, I need a website, I need a strategist, I need a campaign, I need something. Like all small businesses need something all the time, right? So if you call me and say, help, I need a blank, I can match you to people who can do that thing. And then that's more of like a brokerage where you pay a flat fee for me to do the matching. And then the person who wins the contract pays a percentage basis on 12 months annual revenue because I just essentially do their business development for them. So
Right.
those
Right.
are the two sides, either the strategy side, which is, higher ticket, per month cost, or the brokerage side, which is me just matching you up to people who could do what it is you need them to do. So you don't have to like troll around on Fiverr trying to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. Because that in itself, you can go down a black hole looking for people, and to have someone who's already vetted and trusted and that personally, it saves a bunch of time, and the trust factor is already there. And like that just seems like a good move. And then on the strategy side, I also like how it almost sounds like a holistic doctor in a way. You know what I mean? Like that 360 view, where you can look at the complete picture and dive deep. I understand why that would be a high ticket item because it sounds like a lot, but it could be that one person that you need to really unlock that next phase of growth. So that all makes sense. All right, so let's get into your third one then. So what are you doing for your clients? Like let's get into some specifics.
Yeah. So for those clients where I have redone their brand strategy and their content strategy, then once they deploy that, what's actually really cool is like they're seeing a very fast ROI. So I worked with one design studio in Bend, Oregon, and we went through that whole process. So new brand strategy, new content strategy. Now he's executing that. And off of one social post, he got one contract that was worth $30,000. So all the money he spent with me to do the strategy was recuperated in one post.
Yeah.
So, but now what's cool is that because he's a solo designer, he needed strategy on that project. It was a redesign and repositioning for a media shop. So the media agency doesn't have a designer because they don't do creative, they just do performance numbers. They also maybe didn't have the kind of strategist that I am. So I subbed in that contract as his preferred strategist. So now I'm making money off of that contract by working with him. So like it's kind of cool when I can go end to end with clients like that. Like I can redo their strategy and now they're winning business off of my strategies. And now I'm their strategist on their client's business. So
Hmm.
like that's an ideal scenario for me. The other thing in the matchmaking that I think is really fun is it's 10%. So it's 10% of 12 months revenue, but it's reciprocal. So it's a two-way street. So if somebody from First Gen or elsewhere, anybody in my network, like finds somebody that needs what I do, like knows a small business that isn't growing and can't figure it out why, if you send them to me and I book them, then I pay you 10% of 12 months revenue. If
Okay.
I help you do the same thing and I help you pitch and win new business, like off of my strategies or not, maybe your strategies are good, we're just move right to pitching. I have some agreements where I'll basically do like a higher hourly rate. You can either pay my higher hourly rate or you can pay my lower hourly rate plus 10% commission. And depending on where you are with cash flow, a lot of business owners like that because they can just add that 10% on top. Like they
Right.
don't have to take it as a cut. They'll just add it. If because they know it's coming, it's added on. So I just did that with a DEI strategist and consultant that I really love, and she's pitching tomorrow. So
That's awesome. Now, do you ever actually go out and like do the pitch for them on their behalf?
I can, yeah, and I'm a good wing woman. Like, a lot of times people will be like, "Hey, are you free to go to this conference? Can you come be my wing woman?" Like, literally walk around a trade show with you and just be like, "Oh my gosh, you have to talk to my friend. He's so amazing." Like, I will do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, like in a room, like if you are a founder who is more introverted, who doesn't love to get up and give the pitch, I can definitely come and like wing woman your pitch with you if that's a need. I have to get to know you a little bit before I can do it like really effectively, but I have a lot of experience in pitching. So yeah, as long as I can dive in and get to know you and what it is that you want to pitch, I can definitely come lend some support. I mean, I can't show up and be like, I'm the founder of if I'm not, but I can
Yeah.
authentically be like, I'm a strategist on this business, or, I'm on the business development team, or however you want to position me. Like, I basically, any of my clients that I do arrangements like that, I just tell them, like, give me whatever fake title you good, sounds good.
Yeah. Yep.
whatever,
All
whatever.
titles are fake titles, if you ask me.
Yeah,
That's a
really. I mean, yeah.
conversation for another day. All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nora, for taking some time out of your day. And I hopefully this will be helpful for anybody who watches this, just to get a better sense of kind of who you are, what you do, why you do it. It's obvious that you're passionate about helping small businesses. It's obvious that you're very talented at what you do. So
Thank
I think
you.
this is yeah, this is really cool. I'm going to include a link to Nora's LinkedIn profile inside the post down below, so don't worry about trying to write that down. But if you want to get in touch with her, that's a great way to do it. From there, you can land on her website or DM her, or obviously you can do it right here within the community as well. So, again, Nora, thanks so much. Appreciate having you on today, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Andrew.
Bye.
Bye.